Cody Alexander, Match Quarters. Welcome to another mini The Art of X show. Today we're talking about force versus speed movement and then weak side movement with some examples from the Atlanta Falcons. They're a really good four-down team to watch. They do a lot of stuff from a split field defense as well. Their defensive coordinator will soon be with the Jaguars next year, so that's something to look out for in the AFC South. The first thing that I want to talk about here is this movement, force versus speed movement. It's kind of a term that I use. Feed equals with the grain of the offense's blocking. Force is going to be against the grain of the offense's blocking. So here we have kind of a nose and a rip stunt. We're going to talk about that here with the Falcons. I'm going to give you two examples of a rip stunt on the weak side. Most people understand a pirate stunt. So a pirate stunt is where it's going to hit the front side. So if we've got split zone here, we're actually going to work into the B gap and work into the A gap. It's just single line movement. We're just moving one gap. But what I really like about this is a lot of times you can grab this tackle with this movement and it really shortens the edge if you want to blitz this. In terms of run fits, you can box this, you can spill it. If you spill it, the wheel and the mic can actually come all the way back around on this. And up here, when we have this speed movement, really what we're trying to do is build a wall here, create that cutback. And again, both of these backers are able to work all the way. You want to waste 5 with 4. And over here, we're trying to waste, we're doing the same thing, but on the front side with that. So when you're doing blitz design or run fits, these are nice little adjustments in there that can really change the way that his zone works. In fact, I'm going to show you an example of Atlanta doing the same thing versus a weak side counter GY. Let's go quickly over what a pirate and a Raider stunt is. So pirate is going to be a 5 to a B gap, 3 technique to an A gap. We would call this a rip, and we would call this a TAM if we were just going to do it a one-word stunt call for this. So pirate is a rip with a TAM. Then we're going to get Raider, which is a nose and a rip. So we're going to get single line movement. We're going to really define what the gaps are. And again, you want them to move that. So if you go back to the beginning here, we want to get into the A gap over here, but with the center going away, we're not going to force it. We want to get into the B gap up with zone away. We're just going to go ahead and run the heel line. So these are single gap movements. Again, we have pirate, which is a pretty standard 4 down, and then Raider, which is the weak side movement. Now let's get into some film and see how the Falcons use this against the run game of the Saints. In this first clip, we're going to get a Raider stunt on the weak side. So we're going to get the defensive end to rip into the B gap. We're going to get the nose to cross face. Now, we're going to get kind of a mid-zone, kind of semi-outside zone stem from the Saints. They're going to be attacking this tackle right here. What I really like about doing this on the weak side is that when you get teams and you're constantly with the feed movement, right? They're outside zone strong. We're trying to feed the movement. We're trying to get that cutback. A lot of times it's really nice. You can get the backside pursuit going on these stunts, but if they run weak, you get this. This is really nice. So this is actually what we would call force movement. So we're going against the grain of the blocking. You can see 93 rip into the B gap, and it captures this tackle. The tackle right there is not in a great position to get 55. 55's tracking the back. So the moment that he sees that this is going to be some sort of a weak attacking off tackle zone, he can snap down to the line of scrimmage. Nice job by the nose getting into the A gap and then getting vertical. You really like this. If the guard would have shown up, he can ricochet back and use his movement with him. That's a great way for defensive linemen. I call it a Rico or a ricochet, is to, when I'm going to stunt the gap here, if I get the guard, let him just go ahead and bounce me off. Use simple science, right? This is inertia, right? I'm just letting him bounce me and let me get down the flat line. And a nice job again by Campbell here getting vertical. But watch both of these in sync step. Get it, and a lot of I've heard this as a J step because that's what we want to make. We want to make a flat step and then rip to get vertical. We're going to cut it off. Running back really doesn't have anywhere to go. And then the backer, again, is going to snap down into the C gap because that's where his gap is going to be. And then we have the safety who is then going to be fit support, fitting off of him and making sure he gets there. And then we also get the crack replaced by the corner. So again, a really nice look at forced movement off of a Raider stunt by the Saints. All right, we're going to get another Raider stunt by the Saints attacking the weak side of this. We're going to get a counter GY. So we're going to get counter coming back this side. And again, what this does, so in our first clip, we saw what force movement is. In this clip, we're going to get feed movement. And feed movement because we're getting the block backs going with the stunt. So again, you can watch 75 and 93 are both going to get their flat step and get vertical. Now for 93, the tackle is already blocking down. He can't get to the B gap. So we're going to go path of least resistance. He's going to get down the heel line and he's going to spill everything. So you can see here, he spills the guard and then he also spills the tight end and then works back on that hoop to get the running back. 55 almost looks like it's a blitz, but again, he sees that the snap is going this way and he snaps down to the C gap because he's going to end up being gapped out with the play action going that way. And then 27 again is going to be fit support off of him. He's going to work outside and back in. So you can see here with this nose, as the center goes away, he's going to do the same thing. And then watch him as he gets to the center's hip. He's going to get his eyes back and then he's going to try and pin that gap. It clears everything up. 55 now can go underneath the block of the tackle. And look where we have 93 and we also have 55 there for a nice vice tackle. And then we're going to have the safety who's the cap fit. So let's look at this from the top. We get our Raider stunt, so we get him working to try and cross the center space. He's trying to cross the tackle space. Because of the departure angle, they can't get there, and then they end up fitting off real nice on this weak side counter GY. Another good example of feed movement by the Falcons.